back for another episode of the Playoffs of Life podcast with your host, Adrian Hatcher.
And your co-host, Daisy Thomas.
Today, we're here to talk about the hit TV show on Netflix, Kaleidoscope, as well as give our opinion on the way that you should view each episode and whether or not we like the show in general, the characters, and just our overall thoughts on how the show went for us. So, I'll let Daisy go first on how she felt about the show and what order she would watch it if she were to watch it over again.
I thought the show was very good. 9.5 out of 10.
9.5?
9.5 out of 10.
That's a lot.
I love the acting. I love the characters for the most part. I loved the fact that you can watch it in any order. That's cool, and unlike any other, there's no other shows I've seen like it. So that is my opinion. What's your opinion?
So I would give it an 8 out of 10. I wasn't thinking 9.5. I know it was good, but I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think the show had a great arc. I think every episode was explored. Every character was thought out. We may not like the endings for every character, but everybody had an overarching story, and it was a good conclusion. They got you hooked from any episode you watch it, and then towards the end, I needed to know how it finished. Otherwise, it would have felt incomplete for me. So with that being said, I honestly should I change my rating?
Yeah, because what do you need to be?
A little bit better.
What do you need for it to be higher? Because
all right, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. How about that? I ain't gonna give it a 9.5.
To me, it was only one episode that really. I mean, not flopped. None of the episodes flopped. All the episodes were good. There was only one that was less than the other.
Okay. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10, and Daisy gave it a 9.5. So, would you give it a 9.5? What episode? What order would you watch your episodes?
Let's say what order we watched then.
Okay. So the order that we actually watched each episode in. Give me 1 second. We watched each episode in this order. We saw red first. Then we saw yellow, then we saw violet, then we saw green, blue, white, orange, and then pink. So we kind of were all over the place with our episodes. But
apparently, according to TikTok, you're supposed to watch white last. But episode 1, which was black, it's a 1-minute thing that tells you can watch it in any order. Did not say anything about having to watch white last.
How did you know we were supposed to watch white last? Did you see TikTok?
The TikTok say watch white last, and after watching the episodes, I can see why you would say white last. But I still personally think pink should be last. But I can see why people think white is supposed to be last. But Netflix hasn't said anything about white having to be last.
All right, I think they're really enthralled in you figure out what order you feel comfortable in. And because you get all of the answers regardless of what order you watch it, but it may be a better story if you watch it with white being last. I think that's why everybody chooses that.
But if that mattered, Netflix wouldn't make it a watch any episode show.
That's true. Dropping all of them episodes back to back. So, I guess I'll give my list for the way I think that you should watch it. And I'll kind of give a brief synopsis of each episode as I go. So for Red was the first episode I say you watch it. For me, it's the very first episode where you see the group already together. And it's also the first episode where you don't have backstory on everybody, but you understand that the heist went down, shit went bad, and everybody is kind of just reeling off of what happened. What was your first episode if you could rewatch it?
My first episode was also Red. I thought it was very good, set up the mystery of it all.
Okay.
For me.
Cool.
Which made me want to watch more. It's okay, we have a mystery. We need to solve it.
Okay, cool. The next episode I would choose is Yellow. Yellow is actually when you see Leo, who's the leader of the group. He brings everybody together. Once he brings everybody together, you kind of see everybody's strengths and weaknesses. You actually get a good idea of how the plot's gonna go. You see how every character acts, their personality, what may actually end up happening at the end is kind of foreshadowed throughout Yellow. What about you?
Yellow was also my second episode because after seeing that somebody betrayed somebody in the group,
Mm-hmm.
it was nice to learn who everybody was.
Mm-hmm.
Next. So yes, Yellow was my second.
Okay. And then we have, for me, I have Violet. Violet is the very first flashback episode. We really get to see Leo, the group leader, how he starts out as a thief, and then we get some background around the villain, or so-called villain of the episode, Roger Salas. And we also kind of get to see Leo's family as well, which isn't big until closer to the end. Closer to after the heist, you kind of see how that story develops more and more. What about you there?
I chose Orange.
Oh, okay.
For no real reason other than it was 3 weeks before the heist. It was after Bob. I think Bob one of the characters, Bob, got his injury in the Yellow episode. So Orange is immediately after that, and it just makes sense in my head. Also, it gave a good backstory of the FBI agent.
Okay, yeah, I totally forgot that was the episode that Bob got hurt, and that actually plays a big role in further in the story. The next one I have in my list is Green. Green is probably the follow-up to the flashback. In this one, you actually see time go by. You see Leo with the aftermath of what happened between him and Roger, and you kind of basically get the motivation for why he's even doing all this. And that episode was just really cool to me, because you actually, even though Leo's part of the leader of the group, you never really see why he's the leader until that episode. You actually see him like, oh, this is why he's doing it. This is how good he is at his job. So
I agree, and I also chose Green for that same reason.
Nice.
For sure.
Nice. So the next one I chose was Blue. Now, Blue was very informative. Blue was where you actually get the notice that there's an inside person in the big heist. So Leo actually has somebody in the organization that he can use to get into the vault easier, and they actually get a very interesting way of getting into the vault. They use the weather to their advantage. What about you?
Next, I chose Blue as well.
Our list sounds the same. We only made one episode difference at this point.
I chose Blue because it sets up, the hurricane and everything that happens pretty much after Blue in my list, other than one more, is after the hurricane. So I wanted to keep it. That just made sense in my head, going that way. Furthermore, it sets up, that there is a mole. And the reason why I chose Blue over Violet next is because Blue, I feel like if you watch Violet before you watch Blue, you can kind of guess that Hannah was the mole.
Okay, yeah.
Because Violet shows that Hannah is the daughter. So, yeah. That's why I chose Blue for next. Okay.
This is probably where we'll differ. I chose White, which is the penultimate episode, the heist episode where everything goes down. Many people will tell you to watch White last because that's where all your answers are really given, at least for the current timeline, at least for exactly when the heist happens and who betrays who does this, how the heist goes down. I love that episode. It was probably the best episode to me. But that's why I chose White next.
Okay, and I chose Violet next for the reasons of it. I think it just makes sense after you learn that Hannah is the mole, then you get the relationship between him and Hannah.
Okay, yeah, you get to actually get that flashback, and get to know them better.
Right.
The next episode I chose was Orange. Now, you may think this is completely out of nowhere because, like you said, it was the Agent Nas episode.
Right.
Where we got her backstory, and we got a little bit more backstory on Ava, and at least throughout most of the episodes, you don't know a lot about Ava other than she's just really good at being a fence, and she's known Leo for a long
and she's a weapons, she's a gun rights toting badass.
She had so many weapons, which also made me feel some type of way at the way she died, but we can talk about that later. So Orange was my next episode because after you've seen everything that goes down with the heist, I really wanted to know, why is Asia Nas so passionate, so obsessed with catching these thieves? So that would really help me with my episode.
What was your next episode?
My last one was Pink.
You said orange. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to say white was my second to last.
Okay.
Because I agree that white doesn't have to be last. Mm-hmm. But it does give you a lot of the information, whatever. So I feel like it should be towards the end. So second to last is where I want to go white.
Okay. And then Pink, well, of course, was mine. Pink is basically 6 months after the heist. This is basically everybody's ending, everybody's sad song, goodbye. And with Pink being the last episode, it just felt right. Now at this point, you should have all the information, unless you decided for some reason to see Pink way before this. You know exactly how each story is kind of going to play out, and you get a resolution for every character in the show.
Correct. I also chose Pink based off of chronological order, and just like after watching episode white, you really want to know, okay, this is how everything happened, everything went to shit. Mm-hmm. What's next? But I also could make an argument for Pink being first for the same reason why we chose red first. Mm-hmm. With it leaving as a whodunit type of thing. Mm-hmm. Pink, red, and then white last.
It kind of really depends on how you like watching TV.
Right.
Do you like to actually, some TV shows do that, where they show you something huge, but you don't understand why it's even happening.
Right.
And then you follow the story back up to that point.
So, right. And something huge like the death of the main character.
Yeah.
A lot of shows in books do that.
Yeah. That's a fact.
We should have said spoiler.
Oh yeah. Okay, spoiler review.
We kind of already gave a bunch of spoilers, so.
If you got this far though, I think you understood that. Who was your favorite character out of every character in the show? Who was your favorite?
I really liked Hannah. Mm-hmm. I just feel like, for one, black women, we stay together. Two, I admire intelligence. Mm-hmm. And to me, she was the most intelligent character. I mean, people could say Leo. Mm-hmm. But she even outplayed Leo. Mm-hmm. She outplayed everybody. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I just admired that in her. And yeah.
And she honestly got the best ending. She did the least amount of work, maybe.
She was the definition of work smarter, not hard.
Mm-hmm. And she got a decent ending, I would say. Every character, spoilers, every single character in this show that participated in the heist, except for two, got a pretty happy, good ending. But yeah, I mean,
got a bad ending.
Every
character except for two got a bad ending.
Every episode except for two got a bad ending. So Hannah got a good ending. And then I guess we can say Joe. Yeah, okay. I was thinking that, but
because it was like 100,000 in that bag, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She said the most she's ever gotten was 80,000, and she had to split that, and she had to give some to the fence.
So she's still on the run though at the end.
Yes, but she has more money than she's ever gotten in one job.
Okay.
And she didn't even have to do anything to get it, really.
That's true. And we honestly,
except for be flaw.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And we honestly get to know Judy. I think that episode said a lot. It basically told us exactly what Judy was from the beginning.
I knew what Judy was from the beginning.
Oh, you did?
I knew what she was from the beginning.
I did.
From the episode Green, which we watched that. When did we watch that?
That was like in the middle. In my episode list,
no,
Green.
Not your episode list. Mm-hmm. We watched that fourth. Mm-hmm. And it showed that Jody was with Stan, dating him, and then she basically left him for Bob.
Now, he did go to jail.
He did go to jail, but Jody was cool with it while Stan was making money.
That's true.
When Stan was no longer making money in jail, Jody popped the fence. Mm-hmm.
Technically, she did that while he was still in jail. Like, I know he was working with he was a fence basically for everybody in jail.
Yes, and he was making money, real money, and she was down for that. But as soon as he can no longer make money, he got caught up with trying to help Leo escape. He got caught up with just not being able to get the funk the
phone
SIM cards.
cards. Yeah.
And she was kind of over it because that's when she introduced Bob, when she no longer get the SIM cards.
Right. So, who was your least favorite? I think you
That was
kind of
Jody.
answered it. Judy? Okay.
Judy.
Judy was your least favorite. I would say, I'll go ahead and say Bob. Even though he's looked at as a kind of last minute villain, his personality lets you know from the very beginning he's going to mess this job up for everybody. He really contributes nothing other than him being close to one of the main characters, which is Judy being his wife. The reason he even gets involved in the job is because Judy is his wife. The reason he gets as close as he got to the money is because Judy is his wife. Other than that, he messed up his only chance because in one of the episodes, I believe it was Orange. I think one of the episodes
It was yellow,
where he actually injures his hand. So he takes himself out the equation. He basically can't do the one job.
But he still does it with one hand.
He does it with one, but he needed help. If he didn't have help, he couldn't have done it though.
Yeah.
And the help that he got, he hates.
I agree, Bob wasn't the most likable character.
Okay.
But he was real. You knew what you was getting with him. He never shied away from the fact that he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He had been argumentative and nitpicking, and I don't trust none of y'all from the beginning.
Okay.
And y'all thought he was gonna be loyal to y'all. Y'all thought he wasn't gonna try to mess up the everything.
Okay.
The fact that he showed up, I don't remember which episode. I think it was the episode Orange, where he showed up to Ava's house and basically threatened her, I'll blow all this stuff up if you don't give me what I want.
Right, if you don't give me an extra cut for me doing nothing.
Exactly. If that wasn't him saying, look, I'm about to betray y'all, I don't know what was.
Mm-hmm.
That was as close as he could say it without actually saying it.
That is true. We probably should point out that the whole reason this whole heist went down was for one character. His name is Mr. I think it's Roger Salas, who was the old partner to Leo, who's really our main character throughout the show. Throughout the episodes, you find out that Roger, in one way, he betrayed Leo's trust, and that kind of led Leo down the path of wanting revenge, and that's why he ends up stealing these bonds from Roger.
It was personal.
So it got very personal. It was all personal.
Right.
The money, he did not care. Even if he lost the money, he was like, cool, I did what I needed to do.
Because for context, Leo was diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is horrible. Can we talk about that real quick? How horrible they make this disease look, and I never knew what Parkinson's was.
Parkinson's, sorry.
Yeah.
I watched I think it's called, what is it called? It's a movie with Anne Hathaway, and it's love something something.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 words.
Mm-hmm.
And she has Parkinson's, and it slowly gets worse. And obviously I take a lot of biology classes, and I'm trying to get into medicine, so I've heard of it, and I knew it's slowly deteriorating your body, but your mind stays good for the most part.
Okay.
So I knew it was terrible, and he got that diagnosis during episode Green, which is prompted his you know what, I need to break out of this jail cell right now because I can't serve full time and get my revenge. I got to get out of here if I'm gonna get my revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely a sad diagnosis, and throughout the whole show, you definitely got the feeling that it wasn't about the money, because at the end of the day, he may have a year left, he might have 10 years left, but he can't be sure.
If we being honest, he could have been a detriment to his own heist. There's a point in the episode where they already have plenty of money, but he decides to stay back for his own personal reasons. And we find out, of course, why. And it works out. But we honestly both told ourselves, what are you doing? You're leading this and you're about to blow it all up.
It probably did blow it all up, because him not going and being able to supervise everything led for everybody to be able to backstab him. Bob wouldn't have gotten away with, trying to take all the bonds and shooting the one guy if everybody was together still.
True.
But he kind of separated the group.
True. And then I think last but not least, let's give RJ some love. We don't really talk about his character. I don't know if anybody does. He was the driver for the group. He pretty much makes it to the last 3 episodes. During the heist, unfortunately, he passes away. But I think he was important. He was a comic relief. He was the young thief on the rise. He was doing this because he was good at it. He was having fun. He trusts Leo, and he just ends up getting in the way, and he kind of leaves us abruptly. But I think he had his impact while he was here.
He tried to be the hero, and Judy betrayed him, which is why Judy is the worst character, because she is such a fake. Like, she acts like she's this good, nice person, but she shot an innocent guy for her husband, who is Bob, and then proceeds to try to kill Bob.
Yeah.
That was so,
she
like,
was kind of going back and forth with it.
Messed up. And then in the 6 months later episode, she is ditching the new guy that she's with, Stan, or the old guy, the first guy she was with, Stan, because she thinks Bob is alive. And then she found his money, and she's like, F everybody, I just want the money.
Is she a gold digger?
Yeah, well, yeah, she's all about the money. She's a thief.
She's all about the money.
She's a thief. You wouldn't be in this, like, Ava, she was a thief too, but she had a little bit of loyalty to Stan, at least. Not Stan, Leon.
Yeah. She really loved
Leo. What's her name?
Leo Pop. Leo Pop. I like Pop. Yeah, she loves
Ray. That's his real name. His real name is Ray, and that's what I know him as.
Gotcha. Yeah, so if you're interested in the episode, I think at this point everybody's already seen it. So
are we gonna say who actually did it, or are we gonna leave that for them to watch?
All right. No, I mean, because I think everybody's seen it. If you haven't seen the episode, please go watch it.
If you haven't seen the episode, please don't continue past this point, because we about to spoil it.
Right. So go ahead, baby.
So the person who actually got away and stole all the bonds from everybody else was Hannah. She played all of them. Not necessarily. She stole the bonds, but she returned it to the twins, who essentially was who the bonds was really getting stolen from. Roger Salas was just the one, like, hold it, like, he had a private vault, and his whole thing was just keeping money safe. After a long line of stealing from vaults, he decided to do this. And Hannah basically helped her father orchestrate this heist to try to help the twins wash their money, because they couldn't use the bonds. They had all these bonds, but they couldn't use it because they were technically illegal, because they were unregistered.
I think with Hannah, her motivation, probably the most honorable of all. She basically experienced not having her father because he couldn't get past himself being a thief. He's so good at it, and he's enthralled in this world that he is his own detriment to himself. And she kind of put the cards together. She basically told him, look, if you go through with this, you're not gonna get out of this alive. I already know these people don't play about their money. You're stealing so much of it. Your team is kind of crooked. Yeah, like, in order for this to go smoothly, you would have to leave no traces. And
with the team of all them, with right. Bob being on your team,
yeah,
it was only a matter of time till I got back to or Judy, because Judy was clearly they were a matchmate in heaven.
They were
in heaven.
So we can honestly say that Hannah was not only the MVP, but I think she gave everybody 6 months. If we think about it, nobody was going to make it to 6 months after the heist unless she did what she did.
Oh yeah, 100%. And some people live longer. Stan, we don't know what's going on with him after Judy basically ditched him with all the money, but we assume that he lived. I mean, yeah, it's probably hard because he's on the run with nothing.
Yeah.
But
and the love of his life basically ditched him again.
And his connects that were basically helping him, which were Leo, Ray, and Ava, are dead. So really, he is nothing or nobody.
Tacos. He got tacos.
Yeah.
He got them good ass tacos. He was loving them tacos when Judy saw what was going down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So guys.
One character we didn't talk about.
Who's that?
The son.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about them. We just found out.
We just found out, but if you watch closely, at the end, Ray is killed by somebody. They don't show the face. It's just a white man with a hat on. We assume that We assume that Roger orchestrated it. But if you look close, he opens his jacket and you can see this t-shirt. The same t-shirt that Roger's son had on earlier on.
They're like the day of the heist, I think.
Right. So, which is crazy that he's still wearing that shirt, but maybe he was like depressed and just hadn't changed his clothes. Or maybe that's his favorite shirt and he washes it and re-wears it. I don't know. But
so he probably, they kind of, I guess they hinted at it too, because I think throughout the episode his son was like, hey, Dad,
I want more responsibility.
Yeah, I want to be involved. I want and his dad was saying, I don't want you to be like me.
Right.
Before he actually got caught in the whole heist. So
right.
His son went down a path that he chose, to be honest.
And the reason why we think that his son acted on his own versus Roger sending him is because Roger was clearly like, Roger really loved his son. It was clear. And we don't think he would encourage his son to do that. Also, Roger was talking about, not letting this destroy your life. So I don't think he would let this destroy his son's life, whom he actually really loved.
Right.
Unlike his first wife, his first marriage.
Kaleidoscope, at the end of the day, is a pretty good heist drama, and I think it has some tragic overtones. Of course, like we said earlier, only so many people get a good, or what we would call a decent ending. Everybody else kind of just screwed up their life with this decision. But I mean, they knew with a heist this big that it was win or go home, and
a lot of them went home.
Yeah,
the twins went big.
Oh my god, the people with the actual money lost nothing. They gained more.
They gained because now that money is legal because the insurance company was going to cover it.
They got washed. That is the Breaking Bad of Breaking Bad. They got their money washed clean, and they don't have to worry. They don't even need Roger.
$7 billion between the three of the twins. It's the triplets. Sorry, I keep calling them twins.
Triplets. Oh yeah, triplets. Yeah. It was a weird name, but I mean, it was cool.
It was because they were like the three wealthiest people. Oh, and we did see that why why Hannah was so afraid of the triplets later on, because the triplets like literally had this old man touch the police officer's hand and then she was dead like 5 seconds later.
Right. The triplets, they have connections. They know how to get to people. Hannah made a good decision. It's just the decision, once the heist was already in motion, she could only do so much. Right. Really, I feel like she just extended everybody's time, even her father's. So,
right.
And they got a moment.
They had a moment, very nice. Mm-hmm. Right before he died, and he finally, called her after months of not calling her. And he was dying. He didn't tell her he was dying, and hopefully she can recover from the grief that she's about to ensue upon when she finds out. Mm-hmm. If she even finds out, because he was ghosting her for months, so she might just think he's ghosting her again.
Hopefully, Hannah, she can't find some closure. I think understanding who her father was, even from the very beginning, I think she kind of already knew who he was, and she kind of came to terms with it. And she seems to be looking forward towards the future. So with
the brand new baby, that's very easy to do.
Yeah.
House in the countryside, and it seemed like a very peaceful life.
Seemed like wherever she was living,
happy black women winning.
So with that being said, guys, that's going to conclude this episode review. Hopefully you liked it. If you liked what you hear, guys, you can follow us on all the different platforms such as Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, on Playoffs of Life. If you need to, you can also, on Anchor, you can leave us voice messages with your opinion of how the episode went and where you would like to see the show go. Other than that, guys, please, like we said, on YouTube, like and follow. Do you have anything you want to tell them before we head out for this episode?
Peace, love, and hair grease.
Peace, love, and hair grease, guys. We will see you next time for another episode of the Playoffs of Life podcast. See you later, guys.
Bye.